There are bike trails, and then there are bike trails. This one is not recommended for weekend pedal pushers. How rough can skateboarding get? Care to hop aboard the fastest skateboard on Earth and find out? How fast can a set of weird wheels go? Answer, they can always go faster. Mind you, not every record breaker gets to do a victory lap. Some people think Terry Nish has lucky horseshoes up his exhaust system. He walked away from that fireball with only singed eyebrows. But did it make him hang up his helmet? Not likely. Terry Nish has a mistress, and her name is Speed.
The easy way to say it, it's bedroom sex, but that's probably not the best way. It's, to really describe it is difficult because things are happening so fast. But in your mind, it almost gets to the point that it's slow motion. But at 350, you see the mile markers coming up, you read the gauges, you have to be awful aware. It's really a mental game to do one of these things. It isn't physical, it's just strictly mental.
343.
Terry's piloted a lot of speed wagons throughout his career, and his passion for racing has rubbed off on his sons. He proudly calls his clan the world's fastest family, and he hopes his latest Streamliner will prove it once and for all.
This is our dream car. We've been building it for 2 years. This car built specifically to break the Summers Brothers record of 409 miles an hour that was set in 1965. And we think this car is going to be capable of breaking it. That record's probably, in my opinion, the most prestigious land speed record out there. The most important part of the whole car is the parachute assembly. But I can tell you what, 350 miles an hour, these are your best friend because the brakes are useless. Parachutes, when they hit, it's, thank you, Lord, they work.
Building the fastest car on Earth and getting it to stop when you want is serious business. But when things get too serious, Terry goes and sits on a bar stool. A rather special bar stool.
Bar stool racing. Now, this is really high-tech stuff here. This all came about from a conversation I had with my good friend Dean Gilbert. And we were sitting at the bar, and he said, Nish, why don't you take my bar stool and take it out to the salt flats and race it? And I says, why would I want to do that? And Billy Palmer, another good friend, was sitting there, and he says, well, we could have the world's fastest bar stool.
Speeding bar stools? Terry, have you been drinking?
Unfortunately, we drank a couple more Budweiser, and it started actually making sense to us. You know, you work on these 400-mile-an-hour cars, and that stuff gets pretty serious. And these are just a lot of fun. It's kind of just a kickback, you know, something to do, and but it's serious.
Just because it's a bar stool doesn't mean there's a shortage of contenders eager to ride it into the land speed record books.
So it's the same old story, you know. If you got a bike or a horse or a motorcycle and you say you're the fastest, somebody's going to come to beat you.
Sonny Rossi.
It's okay for the bar stool to be heavy, less okay if the driver is too. Contender Sonny Rossi comes with a built-in advantage.
He's okay for a Utah person. I'm from Texas. They a little bit different. You know,
Sonny, I thought everything was big in Texas.
You're looking at it right now.
Now, Terry's bar stool, it's state-of-the-art with high-tech options.
This particular bar stool, we plan on going pretty fast. This little assembly right here is actually a parachute. It's the only bar stool out on the salt that has a full-fledged parachute, and when you see it run out there, it blossoms pretty good. And this is Cease McCrae. He's the littlest and the lightest, so he's the jockey for the bar stool. And we're going to have him get on there and show him our illegal position, Cease.
Okay, we can do that.
The real rule says, just set up on there. See, that's what the rule says you got to do.
Barstool jockeys may vary, but the barstool regulations are rigid.
The wheelbase can't be longer than 21 inches. and the wheels can't be wider than 23 inches. The seat height has to be 30 inches from the ground. The rider has to sit on the seat. Last year we had some guys that were laying underneath the seat in the prone position, and actually they're the two guys that beat us. Aerodynamics entered into bar stool racing. So, yeah, and the only other rules are 12-volt battery, one motor, and let your imagination run wild.
If you're a speed freak, the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah is the only place on the continent to crank the throttle of your imagination wide open. And if these barstool speed record runs don't look hair-raising, then you've never ridden one.
It's not like being in a car, that's for sure. Or on a motorcycle. 20 miles an hour on one of these things is like 50 on a motorcycle.
And if you fall off, you can always go for the land speed record on foot. But when the fun's over, it's time for the Nish family to refocus on the granddaddy of all land speed records, 410 miles per hour. Their dream car won't be ready this year, but in the meantime, they keep their competitive revs up by piloting anything that moves.
Obviously, we want the holy grail of land speed racing, and that's the Summary Brothers record. Almost seems sacrilegious to think about even attaining that goal because it's been around for so long. But we'll do that. We want that record.
You can bet the whole Nish family is serious about that. They're not about to take slow for an answer. Meet Ryan Leach of Burnaby, British Columbia, only in his early 20s, and already mountain biking's answer to Evel Knievel. No trail too rough, no log too skinny, no precipice too intimidating, as long as his girlfriend's father is okay with using his car as a trampoline. Ryan gets a lot of support from friends and family because biking isn't just his hobby, it's his way of life.
I think of it as more of a creative way to express myself, and that happens to be on two wheels. And I can put as much time into it as I get out of it.
And like any successful artist, Ryan puts a lot of time into it.
Practicing is what I spend 95% of my time doing. It's so important to dial in your skills so you have them completely wired so you can do it, in your sleep. You want to be so consistent that when you start taking it to other places, like in the urban landscape on railings or up in the forest on high ladder bridges, you're going to have no worries about crashing or falling off or not being able to do a certain move correctly. You've got it dialed.
Ryan may be young, but as an extreme biker, he's a veteran. He started early, and he can show home movies to his girlfriend Karen to prove it.
It's all just fun and games.
Yeah.
I guess I just kind of took to it. I wanted to outdo them all. And it's kind of, been a bit of my mentality all through my life.
Ryan's got his life story on tape. Here he is in Peru, performing for Radical Films. Karen can hardly bear to watch.
Watching Ryan film has got to be the most stressful thing I've ever seen in my life because it just seems like he constantly blows me away with what he's attempting to do, and I never get used to it, and I never get comfortable watching it.
Ryan's heading for the backcountry with riding buddy Richard Prorok. The mountain they want to tame today is Vancouver's North Shore, known to bikers around the world simply as the Shore. And here's the man who made some of these trails, 62-year-old Peter Morin. Peter was riding rough when Ryan was in diapers, but now he thrills to this whole new generation of bikers who love nothing better than to test drive anything he can throw at them. Tear shit up. Peter moved moved up from trail rider to trail builder because, well, he figured somebody had to take charge.
You know, I was riding and I used to get tired of mud holes, so I stopped one day and started fixing them. Mine is not the most extreme by any means. I actually tone them down a little bit and try and make really smooth landings. Like at the bottom of this ramp here, I've done the outrun 2 times now to get it where it is now because it wasn't good enough. Because that's where you have your accidents coming down.
Ryan may be daring, but he's not reckless. He and Richard do reconnaissance on the really challenging stunts before taking a run at them.
The big smooth.
The big smooth.
Yeah, that's good.
Do it.
This is what extreme bikers around the world call shore riding. What makes it different from ordinary off-road cycling? Ryan Leach.
It's not just cutting a trail through the woods, it's building the trail onto skinny logs, sending you from log to connecting log to log 5, 6, 12 feet off the ground. You see a shot of a guy riding high above the ground level in the forest on a ladder bridge. You're gonna automatically know that it's shore riding. When you come up to something brand new like this, a stunt like this that you've never ridden before, it definitely is important that you visualize the line. You got to figure out exactly where your tires are going to go, and you got to figure out, you know, all the different hazards. What if I crash? Where can I bail? It's time to give it a shot.
I don't know, Ryan. Still looks pretty hairy from here. You sure you guys aren't just kamikazes on 2 wheels?
Depends on how you look at it. Some people think I'm, you know, an extreme maniac. Some people think, you know, it's more of a, say, like a trade. Then, you know, some people call me an artist. Some people call it ballet on wheels. You know, it's been described in all sorts of ways.
Any way you describe it, riding the shore is perfect practice for circus stunt riding, which Ryan does part-time.
Pretty friendly approach. Pretty wide here through these trees, actually. That's not too bad. If you can ride a sidewalk, you can ride this. We're pretty exposed, though. It's pretty high off the ground back there.
Ryan discourages kids from following in his tire tracks before they've mastered the basics. And he says, daredevils need not apply.
Safety is the key. You know, wear your helmet, wear your pads. And also, very important is to start small. I tell them that, you know, I learned these maneuvers on stuff that's, you know, just a few inches off the ground, and slowly increased the height and got to the level that they're seeing today. So I really try to make that clear to the young guys, just so they don't get all excited and jump on their bike and, you know, launch themselves off. Something ridiculous.
You mean something like this? A teeter-totter. To Ryan, mere child's play. Or not.
Good try, dude.
Certainly, I'll hope I'm going to be riding my bike for the rest of my life. It's a passion for me as far as making a living at it. Hopefully I can do that for, you know, I'll be happy if I can do it for another year. Maybe it's 5, great, who knows. I'm going to keep doing what I love, keep, you know, trying to spread the good word about the sport of mountain biking and see where it takes me.
Send us a postcard when you get there, Ryan. We're going to catch a cab from here. Vaughn Schaefer used to be a Hollywood stuntman until it got in the way of his first love, skateboarding. Fast skateboarding.
I've been pulled over once on this here in town already and gotten a ticket for speeding. They kind of like seeing me keep it in the parking lot.
That chance. Vaughn was brought up on a skateboard, holds the land speed record for a skateboard, goes shopping on his skateboard. But Vaughn admits it's not the safest way to travel, even in a laid-back place like El Jebel, Colorado.
It gets a little dangerous. You got to watch your back every time. I don't care if you're going across an intersection or what, you know, I'm always looking. So I haven't put rear view mirrors on it yet, but.
Even on a motorized skateboard, it's hard to haul a lot of groceries at one time, but Vaughn's a versatile guy, a third-generation blacksmith by trade, a natural-born entertainer by inclination.
When I left high school at 18, they really felt that I had a good knack for the blacksmithing, but yet I had the wild oats, and I wanted to go and be a movie star and, you know, be somebody famous.
He wowed the crowds at the World's Fair in Seville, Spain back in 1992 when he combined skateboarding, handstanding, and close shaving.
I designed some titanium on the side, and I'll go into a press as I'm in a handstand, and I drag my face, and it throws sparks like a wheel standard car. My mom was really proud of this one. She thought I was nuts.
Then Vaughn brought his creative energy back home, to the forge, and took the family business to a higher level. He became an artist in iron. He opened a gallery and made a name for himself, sculpting everything from candlesticks to cattle skulls. Hey, that's no cow. That's a saber-toothed tiger. But Vaughn's favorite metal sculpture sits in the shop next door.
This is the world's fastest motorized skateboard. I've got the Guinness Book of Record on it. It runs 74 miles an hour and a quarter mile on asphalt.
For serious speed record attempts, you need at least a quarter-mile drag strip, or better yet, the Bonneville Salt Flats. Vaughn hoped to smash his own record, but as Steve Squires recalls, it didn't work out that way.
Didn't get to break the record, and we thought we would for sure because it was a half-mile track. But he just got around 75 miles an hour, but it didn't count because he lost the board several times, and we get some great footage of him crashing at 75 miles an hour. That was absolutely sensational. So right now, he's got another shot at possibly going to Bonneville again. We're still on hold about that, but we'll find out in the very near future.
It's quite a rush. When I get off of this thing, it's hard for me to stand still. My old legs just shake. I get to laughing. Somehow, sometimes I cry because, you know, I get so excited. I fell off 3 times at 75 miles an hour, so that's not much to be proud of, but I am here to talk about it. I've had special trucks made that are much wider than anything on the market. That way it eliminates speed wobbles completely. I've not ever had a problem with speed wobbles. This type of a hook here that I've got and a little handle, I've made them here in the shop, wrapped them with tape, but my front foot goes in, hang on here, and I hang on here, and then my throttle. A lot of people say, well, you're sitting on it. No, I'm in a low crouch position, and it's a very tight aerodynamic position, and you do got to hang on. It runs 118 to 120 octane fuel, jet fuel is what I use. I use a soybean oil mixture with the gas. And I'm hoping to go 100, and then I'll quit. I'll put it up on the shelf and tell stories about it the rest of my life.
Vaughn's already got some good stories to tell, like jumping over 5 cars on his skateboard. Well, 4 to 5 cars. That's coming right up. Setting speed records is only the latest way Vaughn Schaefer risks life and limb. He used to do it on the long jump.
I did a 5-car jump with a non-motorized skateboard, and then I got into the motorized, and I designed this one, and I started doing car jumps at the monster truck shows over crushed cars, and that was really the last time I jumped. I went into those cars upside down at about 50 miles an hour. Jumping with motorized skateboards just aren't cool.
But he is also a Screen Actors Guild stuntman. And because of that, his training there, he survived. He knows not to tumble. So he was very good at surviving. And that's, God bless him, he's still here.
There's times I wake up in the mornings and I feel a little kink or a cramp or, you know, a soreness in me. And it just reminds me of back when I thought I was Superman.
Just because Vaughn no longer sees himself as a superhero doesn't mean he's given up the dream of going 100. It just means he's designed himself a tougher crash suit. He'll challenge his own record when he's good and ready. And when that day comes, his faithful pit crew will be there to support him all the way. And that faithful crew includes his own daughter.
I think it's pretty neat. I like that it's more unusual. Not many other people my age have a family member who races motorized skateboards, and being in the Guinness, and it's kind of cool to brag about. All my guy friends like it, want to meet him and hang out and check out his board and stuff. So I think it's pretty cool.
I'm ready. Jazzy, put your foot behind this tire. Kill switch.
Sure, Jazz thinks a 175cc skateboard is cool, but Mrs. Schaefer, she's a little less keen.
My wife doesn't really like to hear it, but I would like to go 100 on the site. And then I'd hang it up. I would. It would be time. My goal is to see that, you know, it comes into a sport one day, and when I'm sitting in a rocking chair, I'll be the guy that was the granddad of it all, you know.
It takes guts to ride these wheels, and guts just to dream how far and how hard to ride them. Vaughn Schaefer has already pushed his skateboard into the record books. Terry Nish, he dreams of the land speed Big Enchilada, 410 miles per hour, although not on a bar stool. And then there's Ryan Leach. Are you sure the old man said that was okay?